I visualized being in a big rock band that toured the world, it happened that way. I saw all my favorite musicians on one stage looking at me. And I have to say, the deepest thing was I was standing right where Clarence Clemens used to stand. My mother cried and she was just like, I can't believe what I'm seeing. I used to look at the Roots. I used to look at all these shows. I'm like, I could totally do that. That would be so fun. And then a month after saying that and visualizing myself doing it, I get a phone call from you.
Hello and welcome to Living Rich Sirop. I'm your host, Rich Sirop, and this is the podcast where we search for our truth and reconnect with our inner voice. My guest today, Everett Bradley. Everett is a Grammy-nominated artist. As a singer and percussionist, he has toured and recorded with Bruce Springsteen and the legendary E Street Band, also Carly Simon, Seal, Quincy Jones, Hall & Oates, and the list goes on, and he's currently playing with Bon Jovi. Everett also created the cult holiday show Holidelic, in which he also stars. And I had the pleasure to get to know Everett when I was producing the Meredith Vieira Show, where he was our band leader. Everett, welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to you.
Welcome to me. I love it.
Yes, I didn't know that the show was called Living Rich.
What is it about? What drew you to music? What about you as a person, the core of you, drew you to music in the first place? And then this happened, and then whatever is interesting.
I think, well, when I first started, I used to love the radio, and I liked the songs. I just responded to sounds and beats and words coming together in a way that really sort of united people, and I wanted to be a part of that equation. So it started on piano and me trying to figure out the songs that are on the radio. And then, and that's how my ear started sharpening up. And then my mom realized that I should probably understand what I'm doing. And I got piano lessons. That's a whole other story. But that's how I started figuring out what was going on. And then in high school, I got into theater. And then I convinced my parents to let me study music in college. And my dad said no, and my mom said yes.
What did your dad want you to do? Just out of curiosity.
Well, I had really good math scores, which probably makes sense with music. So I got into Boston University with a scholarship to study engineering, and I did not want to do that. And my mom, behind his back, got me voice lessons and helped me organize an audition with Indiana University School of Music.
So your mom believed in you the whole time?
Yeah, she totally.
And your dad might have too. He just might have had some fears.
Total fears. Like, he grew up a conservative Southern dude and just wanted the best for his kids and wanted us to have the best opportunities. And music was only for people who were lucky. So, but my mom just responded to me, and she took me, and I got the audition, and the school let me in, and they gave me money. That was like the big turning point. My dad was like, "What? So giving you money for music?" And he just didn't know. And so that's when he embraced the whole thing. Although he made me attach education to my degree, because they were both educators. He was a high school principal. My mom was a first grade teacher forever. And so I have a degree to teach music, K through 12.
It's so interesting. I never knew that about you. And I remember watching you with the band on the Meredith Vieira Show and being in awe of how well you could communicate to those other band members what you were trying to convey and how quickly you guys could come up with a song. And I wonder if that's part of you being able to teach music, even though they're professional musicians, you can convey it so easily.
Yeah, I think that's part of the education part, and also just tapping into personalities and knowing how everyone thinks and works. So just addressing them that way, because we didn't have time.
Yeah. No, you did not have time. I need to slow down. And you were dealing with somebody who, I don't have the ability always to sound the way that it is in my head.
Oh, right.
And I would come to you and I'd say, I want a song for this thing. And you'd have to communicate with somebody who's not necessarily trained musically. I mean, not at all trained musically. I don't like to say I'm not musical because I used to tell myself that lie, and it's just not true. I don't believe anybody's not musical. Uh,
Yeah, I agree.
like music is part of your soul. Music brings up memory. Music makes you feel alive. To say you're not musical is to say almost you're not alive, which, you know,
Right.
I would never go down that road, but it was just amazing to watch you be able to take me saying, I need a song for this thing called Call My Bluff. And I wanted to be like, call my bluff. You'd be like, got it. And you'd start looking around, you go, I need you to do this. And sometimes you'd ask me questions that I always thought were really interesting. You would say, this is the best question you ever asked me. And you would ask me it frequently. How do you want it to feel?
Ah,
Because then I could speak to you because I'm very good with feelings. And so
yes,
I would tell you crazy things like, I want it to feel like I'm on a Hawaiian island. That's what I give you
yes.
what. And you're like, I got it. I know exactly what you want. I want to feel a little bit stressed, but not like I'm in a panic state. Got it. You're going to do this, you're going to do that. And you'd have the song like that. It was amazing.
Feelings are real, man.
It was so
You can
important.
tap into feels and musicalize them. You
So
win, I think.
I remember going to Italy with John Harris and Al Roker and my ex-wife to see
Oh
you
my God.
and
That's
the East Street
right.
Band play in front of probably 100,000 people. And I knew you already. We were friends. You were part of the band.
Right.
But to see you on stage in front of 100,000 people who are all singing along, they don't speak English, but they're singing every single lyric in English, and watch you just light up the stage with your big smile and just play the djembe. Do you ever look out to the crowd and just go like, how did I get here?
Yes. Every show with him, I was like, this is kind of it. Like, where do we go from here? Like, what? Because this man is such an incredible musician and such an incredible human. But yeah, and I look out at the sea of people and think, how did I get here? And, but I just had to always remind myself that I'm just staying true to who I am. And it just keeps answering that question over and over.
I love that so much. That's beautiful. That's so beautiful. That's the whole message of everything that I'm trying to convey in all of the work
Ah,
you know. As secure as I can be, I still have felt many times in my life that the imposter syndrome, what is what it's called, obviously. And
yeah.
am I good enough to be part of this group? Do you ever feel that when you're in the mix?
Yeah, definitely. Um, I am producing some artists right now, sort of unknown, but I'm sort of a baby in that way, but I think I really get it. So they come to me with their song ideas. Actually, it's not that different from where you were. He's like, this is what I want. This is what I want it. This is how I want it to feel, and I have to come up with that. But it's not like a 5 second plop. It's like a longer sort of journey that could wind up on a radio for years and years and years. So there's just a little more involved. And I'm intimidated because I have friends that do this, that have been doing it for a long time, who are really good at it. And I use them all the time. I always call them, but I get to a point where I'm like, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to like make this voice sound like this or make this synthesizer do that and all those things. But you have to again tap into what you know and just rely on it. And also not afraid to learn and not learn afraid to learn from yourself, but from your client or artist that you're working with to allow some education there. And I think they in turn respect it. If you ask them questions, they're like, oh, this guy's like being real and honest with me. And now I get to share my knowledge with that person too. And it's like a give and take. And, and that doesn't work all the time because if you start asking questions, they're like, "Oh, this motherfucker doesn't know what he's doing." But I think 9 times out of 10, it works. It works
If they
great.
think that you don't know what you're doing, that's probably their own fear.
Mm.
Why do you think you've had the success you've had?
I this is so crazy, but I think it's because, and you're gonna laugh. I don't think it has to do with music at all. I think it is a certain feeling that I give people. Like, I like people and I like to celebrate them however I can. And I think people feel that on some level. They don't know how or why or whatever, but I think they just like being around me because I know that, or they know that something great could happen, but based on who they are and not necessarily what they know.
or what they can do for you.
Yes, I think it's just a feeling, and they just like, and I'm like that too. When I hire a musician for a job, 90% of the time is like, can I hang out with this person for X amount of time? 10% is their musical ability or their tools. But
Yeah.
90% is like, do I want to be in the same room or the same space for a long period of time with this person?
I think, probably a lot of people that hire you, all these people that you've worked with, they must look at you and go, yeah, I'm going to be on the road with this person. I'm going to be flying around the world with this person. Do I want to spend time with them or do I not? And you're so easy to spend time with. Plus, you're an exceptional musician and you have an incredible stage presence, but that's all a must. You have to be good at what you do, but you have to be able to,
Yeah.
be part of the gang. What
When
now
I
you've been,
was,
so go ahead.
no, I was just thinking about when I was with Bruce and I auditioned for his band for the first time. He, on purpose, didn't share any music with me. He didn't send me any charts. He didn't send me like anything. I just showed up and he had a replica of my percussion stand. And so he made me sit there in the middle of it and made me play music with the band. And he wanted to see what I would do on my feet. And 90% of the time, I was so wrong and so off, but he loved it so much because I went in so hard with it. And I just was like, this is what I think it should be.
Yeah,
And
that's
I was
amazing.
committed to it. And he was like, okay, I'm good.
When
That
you
was
go in to audition for Bruce Springsteen, tell me what is that like when you walk in the room? Is he sitting there waiting?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I've told you the story, but when he first hired me, he asked me to come into a rehearsal with the band. It was like going to happen in like 2 days. And I said, I can't make that because I'm leaving to go on tour with Hall and Oates like tomorrow. And he's like, can you delay it for just a couple days so you can come in? And I said, no. I said, because I already made the commitment. So I went to Australia, and then the management wrote me like 2 weeks later and said, can you call us when you come back? And so I did. I called them, and they said that Bruce was so impressed with your commitment to Hall and Oates that he decided to wait because he just liked that sort of commitment to work.
Isn't it
And
funny how they ask you the question, like, can you do it? Can you push it? And, it's probably not even him asking that question. It's probably the management or something. Just come in, do it now, do it now. And then they have to go to him and
yeah,
say, listen, unfortunately, this guy, we pushed him. We tried to get him in here, but he just had to go with all. And so he probably had nothing to do with the pushing you part. But on your
yeah.
end, you might have thought, oh my God, Bruce wants me to be there. It's all the middle people sometimes that get in the way.
Right, that's true. That's true. So yeah, so I got back and said, yeah, I'm ready to come in. And then that's when he said, I asked him like, do you want me to, is there some music you want me to learn? He's like, no. Do you have any charts? No. Do you have a set list? No. He said, just show up. I'm like, what gear should I bring? He's like, if you want, you can bring some toys. So I got there and I don't know how they did this, but they took pictures of me on the road with other bands and were able to set up my gear to the height of where I like my congas and everything. So I could just feel completely natural in my
Wow.
setting and just let me just play.
And once you start playing, do you get intimidated when you walk in the room when you're auditioning?
I saw all the my favorite musicians on one stage looking at me, and I have to say, the The deepest thing was I was standing right where Clarence Clemens used to stand.
Once you start playing, does that fear go away?
Yeah, it had to. I'm like, I'm gonna play and shake my ass like I usually do. And it's up to them if they want this brand or not.
That's great. So you were just true to yourself again.
Yeah,
That's what you've always done.
right.
And when did you find out that they were going to have you be part of the band? What was that call like?
It was after two rehearsals. He pulled me aside at the rehearsal. He's like, "So I'm really loving this. And if you are, I'd love to have you." And I'm like, "What do you mean if I am?" I'm like, "Of course."
Nah, I'm good.
And
I'm good.
so and I said, I have to Hall and Oates commitment. And he was like, "Oh, yes." He goes, "I completely understand." He was like, "Just talk to my management. I want the transition to be as smooth as possible. No like friction. I want it just to be like, because I don't want to disrespect, because I understand what that means when you take away a major musician from another band."
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What did you
Yeah.
learn from him when you were on the road?
Um, to embrace the moment, always just embrace the moment. At one point, he had me playing keyboards, and there were like some samples from the record that he wanted me to play, and I played them in the wrong place, and I was freaking out, like because he has big ears and he hears everything, and I thought I'd be in trouble, and so I went to his dressing room, and I told him the mistake I made and I apologized. He's like, "I did not even hear that mistake." And he said, "And next time, if you do it, go in hard. Just go."
But he probably really liked your integrity, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, he
I
did.
remember you told me a story that you were flying once and you had a conversation with him about music and you asked him like about his longevity, like why has he sustained, this
Mm,
level? Do you remember this?
I do.
All right,
Yeah.
so tell the story. This is what I've told this story to many people because I love it so much.
So, what the question was? Oh, I said, "What is your perception of music today and like what's happening?" I think was that it?
Yep,
And
exactly.
he responded with, um, he said, "Well, no one's paying attention to what's going on in the world." He is like, "There's so much to talk about and so much to react to." And he's like, "Where the Joan Armatradings, where the Bob Dylans, where the Stevie Wonders, like, where are they? We're in this young crop of people." He's like, "I feel like I'm the only one left still like recognizing what's going on in the world and reporting about it." And he's like, "And I feel like a lot of that reporting is gone away." He's like, NWA, do you remember that band? They were talking about Public Enemy. Where the rappers that were like talking about what's going on? He's like, "I feel like they've all been shut down and forced to sing about drugs and booty, you
It's
know?"
true. It's true. I remember when after 9/11 when the Rising came out and I just thought, this is somebody actually singing about what just happened. And
Yeah,
those songs, all of them touch me so much. And it's funny because even now, so many years later, if I hear any song from that album, it'll bring me back to that time and it heals me in a new way.
yeah,
Even though I've done a lot of healing from that, being in New York or being here when that happened was hard. And music will always help you through stuff,
always.
and it also like it's a beautiful thing. Music will take you back. It's a time machine.
Yeah,
It's one of the
exactly.
most best things that we have with art, and it lives. I used to do comedy. I don't know if you know, I used to be a stand-up
Yeah,
comedian.
I remember that.
And they used to say
I saw it.
comedy doesn't sit on the shelf long. Like comedy dies
Oh,
quick. You can use a joke for a few years, but then it's outdated. But music, Like I could still listen to a song from the 60s, any Beatles song, and feel like it applies to me right now in my life.
Yeah. Yeah, it does two things. It applies to you right in your life, and it makes you, like what you said before, go back in time and you remember what you were doing when that song happened. People love that,
Yeah.
going back and that feeling that you had, or that love that you had, or something that your parents said to you, or, you know, getting you through a crisis, whatever.
What is your appetite like for music? Do you feel like you want to write all the time? Are you always coming up with new songs? What's your if you
That's a
could
really good
say if
question.
you could talk to future Everett 10 years from now, right? And he had everything you want musically, what would he tell you? What would he tell you he's after?
Um, well, I'm continuously paying attention to everything. Sometimes I do get tired. Like when I get in the car, I don't turn on the radio all the time because my natural instinct is to listen and to dissect. And so I find myself going away from the music and listening to talk radio or podcast or news, that sort of thing. And then when I'm ready again, then I put on music, and then I know I can't help it. I go into study mode a little bit. But and sometimes I laugh too at some of the choices that artists make, just because I understand it, or it actually is really funny, or But I still get excited when people come to me with scenarios. It's like I I'm writing a musical, and this is the subject matter, and I want it to do this and feel the certain way, and I just snap into focus, and I can start constructing it
Mm.
immediately. And I still get high from it.
You like to build.
I love building. I love it.
Mm.
I love it.
If you could do anything, in musically, if you could front your own band or you could, start your own club or, just be producing other people's music, what would it be or continue to do what you're doing now, tour with Bon Jovi? What would it be that you'd really just sign up for right now if you could
That's a
have
really
your
good
way?
question. I'm kind of going through a little bit of a crisis about that, because touring is not easy uh, on the body. Like getting in airplanes, back and forth, it dehydrates you, and then checking into hotels, and unpacking, and then packing again. And then if you're with some sort of high level artist, you're never not working. As soon as you walk out of your room, people see you and they know that you represent a brand. You have to be representing them, because everyone has like cameras on their phones, and they're all videotaping and all want selfies. And you can't not let down your guard because of that,
Mm.
because you have a responsibility to the artist or the organization that you're working with. So, what I do like, though, is being at home and being able to build, like what you're saying. And I think that's where I'm headed. I've been paying more attention to film and how music is built in that, paying more attention to cool records, musicals. I like building those too. Yeah, and it's much more manageable, and I can manage my time easier, and it's not as stressful.
Hmm. So do you want to build for yourself or you want to build for others or both?
Both. Right now, I'm in the middle of building Holidelic as an animated feature,
Wow, fun. Well, let's
and
talk about Holidelic. I was going to get into
I
Holidelic, but
know.
Holidelic. Okay, so I have known Everett for a long time. I knew the beginning of Holidelic. Holidelic was on the Meredith Vieira Show. It is one of the most fun shows you could ever go and see. It's outrageous. It's incredible. It gets you on your feet. But how do you describe it to somebody, which I've tried to do before, who has no idea what you're talking about? Okay, Everett, go ahead. I'm sure you've had to do this before. What is Holidelic?
Holidelic is a mixture of funk and Christmas, basically two of my favorite things.
Funk and Christmas. That's how. Okay, and
Yes.
also short shorts and sequin jackets and Santa being an alcoholic. What else?
Yeah, I mean, and I play a character I call Papadelic, and it's basically a mixture of George Clinton from Parliament Funkadelic and Santa Claus. And so it's like an amalgamation, and the way it manifests on stage, I think really intrigues people because they are drawn to the short shorts and the sparkly boots and the large fro and a thumping bass line that makes them dance. But at the same time, there's this sort of warm feeling of the holiday that is also happening simultaneously.
How? So,
So
what's the
that's
future of
why
Holidelic? Is it going to
I'm,
continue forever?
it is going to continue. There's a couple things going on. I've been trying to turn it into a musical, sort of a loose narrative so I can book it into a theater and not a club. And so that means that there's characters and it's on paper, and that means that a cast can come in and actually perform it. So that is the idea of it. So I'm trying to put that into place simultaneously, coming up with an urban Christmas story. And because there is none
So
that
true.
yeah,
So
it's
true.
so crazy. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't believe this hasn't happened. And I feel like this character who embodies Santa and funk, I mean, I feel like that's it. So I'm working on a story where Papadelic is is from Santa's village. He was actually born and raised there.
Yeah.
And there's a conflict between he and Santa, and he leaves the North Pole and moves to the South Pole.
This is like a whole new version of Elf, the Will Ferrell movie. This is
Exactly.
this is like the next level of Elf. Papa Della getting into a fight with Santa and going and taking over the South Pole. I'm watching it the second that it's released.
Right. And then Santa needs him for a certain thing and has to fly to South Pole into Papadelic's neighborhood.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. I want to go back to your kindness for a second. Have you ever heard the Hunter S. Thompson quote about the music industry?
No,
The music business is a cruel and shallow money trench, a long plastic hallway where thieves and pimps run free and good men die like dogs.
if you let it,
Hmm.
I think should be on the end of that.
I like that you're adding a little. Maybe it was. Maybe I just only have part of the quote.
I think it's everyone's perception of it. Like if you let it, it can be that, or you have the power to make it a very spiritual, positive experience.
Because the music,
Yeah,
right? I mean, and
totally.
they're artists. You're talking about artists. It's not the music and the artists that get in the way oftentimes, I don't think. Just like it's not
Yeah,
the writers and the creatives in
you're
the
right. You're
world.
right. It's the business aspect. People get obsessed with that part, and if you let it take over, it can be bad.
Bon Jovi, Carly Simon, Seal, Bruce Springsteen, on and on and on. Bobby McFerrin, on and on and on. You always hear this thing, okay? That person has the it factor. They have the it factor, right? I remember when I saw Jennifer Lopez come to a show that I was producing, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's what it is. That's the it factor." You see some huge celebrities. I've seen huge celebrities who don't have the it factor, but other
Yeah,
ones do. How is it? You've been around a lot of people with the it factor. What makes somebody have the it factor?
I think commitment to their craft, like just fully committed to it and in it. Sometimes to a fault, um, but but really embracing their gifts and making it happen. I think that's the it
You got to
factor.
be all in.
Yeah, yeah. Like if you're halfway and someone sees a little weak point, they'll slide in there and like devour you or just, try to trip you up.
Beware of those pimps and thieves.
It's true. You have to just be all in on it. That's what I see with all the artists, or most of the artists I've worked with. They're like fully committed and fully aware of the gift.
Yeah, I was listening to this podcast recently, The Diary of a CEO, and they were talking about Steve Jobs, and they were saying
Mm.
Steve Jobs understood the signal to noise ratio, that you had to have a signal of 80% and noise of 20% to be uber successful. So he would figure out the three things that he needed to do to move his company forward every day, and he would not finish the day until those three things were done. That was the signal. Everything else was noise. Jeff Bezos doesn't make a major decision after 1 p.m. because he thinks the noise level is too high. He'll only make it when the signal is very high. And I think people like Prince is a good example. Prince
Yeah.
was like all signal. Prince didn't have any noise. Prince was like, he was going until 3 o'clock in the morning playing. He was always
Yes.
signal. Very little was noise for Prince, which is why he became so great.
That is amazing. I've never heard that.
And most of us operate, there's a principle called the Pareto principle, which says 20% of your actions are responsible for 80% of your results. So very little of what you do is responsible for the most results that you have. But most people spend 80% of their time in the noise and only about 20% in the signal. So as you shift up the signal and you get more and more into what you really need to do and you stop paying attention to the things that you don't need to do, the noise, being too distracted. I'm going to do a musical. I'm going to produce 5 people. I'm going to be on tour. Too much, right? So like it's
Yeah,
hard
yeah, yeah.
to have massive success in any one thing unless you're focused on that one thing, and that's your
Yeah.
signal. And I think that's what you're
Wow.
saying, essentially, right?
Yes,
Isn't that cool?
exactly. That is very cool. I've never heard it distilled like that. That's cool.
And the other thing I love about you is, are you still doing work with Say?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Say is an amazing organization. We had them on the show. They work with kids who stutter and they work through music, which was crazy that people who stutter when they sing, the stuttering just seems to go away. If I have that right, that's how I remember it. Um, and how did you get involved with that organization?
The artistic director and I did Stomp off Broadway together. And we were having dinner one night, and he told me his idea to start this organization or a theater company specifically for kids who stutter. And I was like, why kids who stutter? And he told me that he stuttered. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know, because as an actor, he was always able to sort of mask it. So he asked me to be his musical director, and I said yes. And that was over 20 years ago.
Wow. Oh, you're the musical director of Say?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was, wow, you're really involved.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm on the board. I've been in the trenches for a long time with that
What is
organization.
some of the most incredible things you've seen in the program?
Oh, to see an 8-year-old girl struggle. Actually, she was on the show. Her name was Juliana.
I remember
And
her. That's my daughter's
yeah.
name.
Oh,
And my
wow.
son's name?
It is Everett.
That's
I
right.
never forget. I want to hear about them soon. Um, but yeah, Juliana, her stutter was so severe that it took her a long time to get through stuff. But when she sang, she would just unfold like a rose. It was incredible. And I felt like my contribution was giving these kids a gift, like another language to speak, or another way to communicate or to express themselves. And then when I started writing with them, that's when it really unfolded, because all the things that we're thinking and feeling, they were able to express in a whole other way. So she's just one shining example. Um,
That's
but
beautiful.
I've seen kids come back to us and say that they are not afraid to raise their hands in class. I've seen parents feel like they had their child back,
Mm.
or they could finally understand and embrace who they are and that they are people too, and they just need a little more time. You know, it's a community, and we're not trying to make them better speakers or whatever. We're just trying to make them understand that they can enjoy their lives and to embrace who they are
Mm.
and celebrate their authentic selves.
Wow, that's awesome. Is your mom still with us, Everett?
No,
Did she get to see you have all of this incredible success in your life?
she has seen me in Broadway shows. She's seen me perform quite a bit. Um, and but she never saw she never saw our show. Uh, but she saw enough to understand that she feels like she did the right thing.
What was the first time where you felt like, oh my God, I'm so happy she's here, seeing me in this moment because of the support she gave me and because of all the love that she had for you?
Uh, I think when I was on Broadway doing a show called Swing that I co-wrote, and I was actually able to fly them in to New York and put them up, and they were all freaking out. They're like, "Are you sure you can do this? Is this okay?" I'm like, "No, I got this." And then they came and saw the show, and my mother cried, and she was just like, "I can't believe what I'm seeing." You
Wow.
know, yeah. And then the next morning, my dad opens his favorite paper, USA Today, and sees my picture there.
Incredible.
Yeah,
Incredible. So they got to see a lot of your success.
they got to see that. And honestly, without getting too mushy, I feel like they're still seeing it.
Of course.
Yeah,
Of course. But that's for them.
yeah, yeah.
When you're able to experience it with them,
That's true.
that's for you.
Yeah,
You know, if you can feel them in your heart, it's true. Totally
yeah.
agree with you 100%. And who doesn't want to get mushy, by the way? Mushy is my favorite thing. I mean, come on. It's like saying like not to laugh and have a good time. Mushy is a great emotion.
Mushy,
Don't
mushy
run from
dot
mushy.
com.
You told me at the beginning before we started recording that I changed your life with the Meredith Vieira Show. What do you mean? How did I change your life?
Dude, often in my life, I don't know. It probably comes from that book, Creative Visualizations. Do you remember that book? I think
No.
who wrote that? Was it Shakti or something like that? This book taught me to visualize what you want, like see it as clear as day in your head, and sometimes even write down exactly what you want and read those things almost as affirmations every day. And the idea is that it will come, it will happen. And so when I visualized being in a big rock band that toured the world, it happened that way. When I visualized making a record, it happened. And and I was like, wow, I would love to be the musical director on a TV show. I used to look at the Roots. I used to look at all these shows. I'm like, I could totally do that. That would be so fun. And then a month after saying that and visualizing myself doing it, I get a phone call from you.
Wow. You know who else auditioned?
Who?
John Baptiste, the guy who does
What?
yes, we picked you.
He's one of my
We
heroes.
picked you, buddy. He was
You
incredible.
auditioned John Baptiste. Why didn't you take
No,
that?
we made the right choice. He's great. He's fantastic. I love him, but you were the right choice for us.
That's crazy. Because I actually wrote to him after I got the job.
Oh yeah, that's funny because he did
He
audition. Well,
never
he didn't
even
audition,
shared
but he
that
met
with
with
me.
us.
And I said, yes. I'm like, I just got this gig and I've been, if you can help me out with any sort of pointers as an MD, I would really appreciate it. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And then he wrote back, just be yourself.
Yeah.
John Bon Jovi told me the same thing. I said, I'm freaking out. He was like, do your thing. He's like, you be you. And
For
it's
the
gonna,
Meredith Vieira Show?
yeah,
Oh, you were with John Bon Jovi when you were doing our show?
yeah,
Oh, wow. Okay, I thought you were with because you were the E Street Band beforehand.
yeah, exactly. But I was with John, or he's been friends since 1997.
Wow.
And I've played in various incarnations of him. Like when he does acoustic shows without the band, he used to hire me to play percussion and sing with him. So I reached out to him about this, and he was like, "Nope." He's like, "You got it. Just be yourself."
And how did you feel about once you got in there? Did you feel the same? Did you feel intimidated or did you feel at home pretty quickly?
After a while, the pressure started feeling like a high. It's really crazy.
You were also family.
I remember coming in a meeting with all of you for the first time, and Meredith in the meeting started like walking around the room and she was rubbing my shoulders. And I was like, what's
What was
happening?
she doing? Why would she do that?
I don't know, but she
Was it a
was,
prank?
I think she just already decided that I'm the one or something.
Oh, that's funny.
I
Yeah.
think that's what
That's the way
happened.
she is. She's just like so warm and accepting, rubbing your shoulder because it's like Meredith is the least
And I
flirty
was like, I
person.
don't know you. But at the same time, I'm like, I think I know all of you.
Yeah, you were in quick, and we just felt like you were no, we didn't even question it. We just knew. We were like, this is
That's
the guy. And
funny.
then I remember when we were auditioning the rest of the band, and
Oh God.
I think you were playing Happy and Best Day of My Life
Oh
over
my God, you remember the audition songs. That's
and well, I do
amazing.
have a good memory over and over and over and over again with different musicians. And every single time I was like, I can't believe how lucky I am that I get to sit here with these incredible musicians and hear live music over. And I don't care. You could have played it 1,000 times. I was never going to get sick of it. You're on the gen, and then all these different
All
amazing
of you, you
musicians.
were all like bopping and like
Yes, it's
watching this thing
incredible.
unfold. I know, it's crazy. Oh man. And then after that, I became like the female musician guru.
What do you
Like
mean?
after the show closed, all musicians would call me looking for female musicians
Oh,
because
because you had an
my
all-female band.
Rolodex was just like thick.
Did you help out a lot of the people from the band?
Yeah, I helped Alex get with Cyndi Lauper.
Wow, Alex is with Cyndi Lauper?
Yeah, she is her guitar player for ever
Amazing.
since.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
Cindy called me. She was like, "So I hear that you know all the female musicians."
So the
That's
last question for you, Everett, put these three things in order. I ask
oh
everybody this
God.
question. Everybody gets the same question, okay? Put the
Uh,
three things in order in importance of being successful, okay?
yeah,
Adaptability, work ethic, and passion.
passion, adaptability, work ethic.
You're the first person to answer it that way. Because
Really?
because an artist would say passion first. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Most people go adaptability, work ethic, and then passion. But artists are not the same. Artists, the passion has to be there
Oh
before
yeah.
anything else, but you have to be adaptable at the same time.
Yeah.
I love this. I love this question. It really shows the different sides of people.
Is that your question? Did you
Yeah,
make
of
that?
course. Yeah, what do you think? Come on, you know me. Oh, my question. All these are my questions. What do you think? I went on Chat GPT and said, create an interview for Everett Bradley. Everett, thank you so much. This is
Thank
amazing.
you. Thank you. It's so great to reconnect with you, Rich. And congratulations on where you've ended thus far in your journey. You seem like you're in a really beautiful place, and your heart is rich with truth and gifts, and it's so nice to be in the space with you like that.
I
So,
finally caught up to you.
oh, please.
I mean, you were there a long time ago. Yeah, you have been somebody who was where, you were at peace. You understand joy. You understand truth, which as that's the most important thing to understand as a human being is that you are not the person playing you.
Mm.
The person that gets upset and feels judged and feels like they're not good enough and feels like maybe they can't make it is your ego being afraid all the time. But you are a much deeper thing than that. And once you can get there, which I feel like you have been there for a long time, um, your life changes. That's why you're able to manifest things the way that you are because you are not afraid. Your ego is not getting in your way. I think a lot of people try to manifest and they go, I really want this thing, but they're holding on too tightly to the want of that thing, as
Mm.
opposed to releasing their grip and trusting that it will come.
That's amazing.
Thank you so much again, Everett, for being on the show. Really has been such an honor, even to just know you and to be a friend of yours. And hopefully, a lot of our audience today got that message. Trust your magic, trust yourself, be true to who you are, and you are good enough just the way you are. This is Living Rich Sirop. We'll see you next time.